Hey folks, this is another video in a series that aspires to teach Google Apps Script's Calendar app to beginners. In previous lessons, we've learned how to create events, how to change the color of our event, and how to manage the event reminders. We're going to resume by navigating to the Files menu, where we will be creating a new script file. You can call this file whatever you want to. I'm going to call mine f_event_id, and then I'm going to hit enter. The focus of today's lesson is going to be teaching you how to get the identification number of your event. This will be a stepping stone to other things that you might want to do, such as update your events, delete your events, and just kind of reference your events programmatically. So if you've done any other work with Google Apps Script, you'll know that you can use document IDs, folder IDs, various identification numbers in order to access an object that you want to, manage, right? So if you want to create it, if you want to edit it, if you want to delete it. The challenge with calendar events, you'll notice there is no identification number that is exposed in the URL. If you try to edit the event, there is an identification number here after this event edit portion of the URL. This is in base 64 code. So you would have to go through other steps in order to parse out what this event's identification number is, which in my opinion is not that efficient. So what we're going to be exploring today is figuring out how to programmatically extract the event ID so that you can access it within your program. You can keep the boilerplate code for your file. I'm going to clear mine out. So I'm going to begin by typing function, and I'm going to give my function the name of event, capital ID, and I'm going to open up a set of parentheses. If you are looking to explore automation aspects, this is the space where you can add input variables or arguments that will allow you to make your function dynamic and modular. I am not going to be exploring that in today's video, so I can keep this area blank. And hit the right arrow on my keyboard and add a space. I'm going to add a set of curly brackets, and I'll hit enter twice. So the first thing that I am going to do is add 2 slashes and access the calendar. I'm going to hit enter and tab. So we're going to declare a variable. You can call your variable whatever you want to. I'm going to call mine cal, which is short for calendar. I'm going to set it equal to calendar app, and then I'm going to use period get default calendar. I'm going to have an open set of parentheses here. So if you want, right now I just want to use the calendar that is associated with this email. If you are trying to access another calendar, there are ways to get calendar. So we use .get. So you can get all calendars, get all own calendars, get calendar by ID, get calendars by name. But basically, you're just going to have to access whatever calendar has the event that you are looking to get an ID from. So for my purposes, I'm just using the calendar that is associated with the email account that I have created this app script with. So I can use get default calendar. I'm going to hit the right arrow on my keyboard. I'm going to add a semicolon. I'm going to hit enter twice. I'm going to align my cursor with the comment on line 3. So I'm going to hit shift tab. I'm going to add 2 slashes for another comment. And I am going to access the calendar events. So I'm going to hit enter and tab. I am going to declare a variable called events. I'm going to set it equal to cal, or whatever variable name you used on line 4. I'm going to add a period, and I'm going to say get events for day. I'm going to open up a set of parentheses there. And this is where I am going to enter in a date that will return all events for that day. So you have a couple other options if you wanted to do this. So if we do .get, you can get the event by, you can get events, which I think is just all your events, or you can get it events for day. You could also do get name. I don't think you could actually use get name actually. I think that would just return a name based upon some other. So for my purposes, I find it most efficient to identify a date for an event that I want to access. So I'm going to pass in new, capital D date, open up a set of parentheses, and then the date of my event is May 28th, comma, 2024. And I'm going to go to the end of the line by hitting Command right arrow, and I am going to add a semicolon. So I'm going to hit enter twice, add 2 slashes for a comment, and now I'm going to add logging for transparency. I'm going to hit enter and tab, logger with a capital L, dot log, open parentheses, and then I'm going to pass the variable name from line 7, which in my case is events. I'm going to hit the right arrow on my keyboard, I'm going to add a semicolon, and I'm going to hit run. I got an error because I did not save my file. So it attempted to run the boilerplate function of my function, but it was deleted. So I'll hit run now. And now you can see that I got a single calendar event there. So you can see that events returns a list or an array of event objects. So in order for us to access things about this event so that we can kind of drill into it deeper, we're going to have to access each of the event objects. Just so that you can see why that's important, I'm also going to add another event here called test test. And when I go back to run, you can see that now I have 2 event objects. And the reason for that is because this is test test, and then this is new event, which is the one that I want to access. So at the end of line 10, I'm going to hit enter twice, and I want my cursor aligned with the comments on line 3 and 6. So I'm going to hit shift tab once, shift tab twice, 2 slashes for a comment, and now we are going to loop through the events. I'm going to hit enter and tab. So we're going to use for. So we're going to type the word for, open parentheses, and then we have to declare an iteration variable. Typically, you will see I represent the iteration variable, so I'm going to use I, but you can use any variable name you want to. But I would say that it is highly encouraged to use I, because that will be a very familiar syntax if other people need to use your code. So we're going to say for I in, and then we are going to loop through our events. So you're going to use whatever the variable name is on line 7. In my case, it is the word events. I'm going to hit the right arrow on my keyboard once, hit space, add a set of curly brackets, and hit enter. So I am going to add 2 slashes for a comment, and I'm going to log the event name. I'm going to hit enter and tab, and I'm going to add logger.log, open parentheses, and I'm going to add a string. This is merely for display purposes. You don't have to do all this if you don't want to, but you know, I'm just going to walk you through it in the event that you do. So I'm going to say the event is called, and then I'm going to add a colon and a space. I'm going to go to the right of the quotation marks, and I'm going to use a plus symbol. And then I'm going to reference my events variable. So that's from line 7. That's the thing that we are looping through. I'm going to add square brackets, and then I'm going to pass my iteration variable, which in my case is I. I'm going to hit the right arrow on my keyboard, and I'm going to use dot get capital T title, and then I will have an open set of parentheses. I'm going to hit save, and then I'm going to run my code. And now you can see that the first thing that's logged in the console is line 10, which is just showing us the output from our events variable. And then the next thing is the first iteration from our for loop, where we are saying the event is called, and then we are accessing the events variable. We are accessing each element or item of the events list or array, and then we are getting the title. So you can see the event is called test test. The event is called new event. So we have successfully looped through our events array. We're going to hit at line 15, we are going to go to the end, hit enter twice. We're going to align our cursor with the comment on line 14. We are going to add 2 slashes for a comment, and now we are going to log the event ID. and we are going to hit enter and tab, and we will do logger.log, open parentheses, single quote. We're going to do a similar thing, and I'm going to say the event ID is colon space, go to the right of my quotation marks, hit space, use a plus symbol, hit space, reference your events variable, square bracket, your iteration variable, hit the right arrow on your keyboard and use .get capital ID. And then you'll have an open set of parentheses. And now when we run our loop, you'll see that we get our event array, and then we get the event is called test, and then we get the event ID is a alphanumeric number at google.com, and then we have our second event with an alphanumeric variable at google.com. So if you want to isolate a single event from a day, what you can do is, for example, I want to get new event, so I'm just going to copy this event ID here. And then I am going to go to line 18. I'm going to hit enter twice. Add, you know what? I'm going to align my cursor with line 17. Add 2 slashes for a comment. And now I'm going to add conditional logic to isolate an event. Hit enter and tab. And I will use an if statement. And I will say if events square bracket I dot get ID is with open parentheses there. So dot get ID open parentheses is double equal sign. And then I'm going to add single quotes and then paste in my ID, go to the right, use curly brackets, hit enter. And then I am just going to log the event name like I did on line 14. So I'm just going to paste that in there, tab that over so that it's aligned. And what I'm going to do is comment out this code here, and I'm going to hit run. And now what's happening is you can see that our events list is returning 2 events, but we have this if conditional here that is establishing that we want this ID here. This is the mechanism that I would recommend using in the event that you want to get calendar events and make changes to calendar events. You know, the challenge with using event names is that names can change, but identification numbers will not. The only way that an identification number will change is if it's deleted. So it makes it a really substantial hook for you to grab onto when attempting to adjust events or alter them.